No, I'm listening.
Thank you.
We're having fun? Yeah, we're having so much fun. Now,
Does anybody have a problem with the view? No, just me? All right, cool. I'll take up with the staff later.
I should be probably turn it down here.
I mean, you should have brought your sunglasses.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite now the father of the bride, Paul, who will be accompanied by his daughter and also sister of the bride, Adrienne, who's going to keep him in line because he forgot to thank them at the engagement party.
There you go. You got there.
I'd like to welcome Paul and Adrienne.
Oops, it's not as bad as that. Sorry, I've got to put my glasses on to read. You right to go? Yep. Thanks, Jono. Good afternoon, all. Hi to everybody. Those that don't know, my name is Paul Prince, and I have the privilege of being Jenni's dad. Before spending a few minutes talking about her, I would like to mention a number of those attending who have travelled to be here and to help us celebrate Jenni and James's wedding. Firstly, I know that many of you are family, friends from school, friends from uni and work, and you have travelled interstate to be here, so welcome and enjoy the rest of the day. Secondly, I must mention a few others who have travelled from overseas. Wee Sun and Steph Tay from Hong Kong, and Carolyn Keeping, who is on a quick trip from London. Just a bit more about Carolyn, please. Indulge me. When Adrienne and Jenni were at school in the 90s, I probably should have said the late 90s, Karen was always referred to as number 3 daughter. We are very pleased, I'm getting emotional, we're pleased that you're here and have been able to attend. I would also like to offer you our congratulations and best wishes to you and Jim for your wedding in London in early December. Enough emotion. I'm not to Jen yet, so look out. I'd also like to welcome James to our family. We've enjoyed getting to know you and your family, Mum Robin, Tamana, Mark, Isla and Emily, over the last couple of years. What did I say? Sorry? Shh. Now you've lost my place, Jennifer. Thank you. I will not say much more other than to say that it's been wonderful to see your relationships with James, this is too, with Jenni develop and flourish. I am sure I haven't seen Jenni as happy or relaxed as she is. Well, maybe not the last few days being relaxed, but before that. I must also mention your hands-on involvement as a dad to Eloise. So different and so much better than my age group. So where do I start? Jenna's told, finish. Thanks, Jude. You've got to come up and do your bit too. Jenni has told me to keep it short and not embarrass her. So I'll be short and leave her sister to Adrienne to tell a few stories, most of which I'll be hearing probably for the first time. I will start by saying I have not won a debate or discussion with Jen since she became a teenager. I recall her determination to do well and remember fondly that she was part of a successful school rowing quad at state level. This made the early starts and drop-offs all the sweeter. I also recall her response when learning her sister's Year 12 exam results. Ah, shit, now I'll have to work harder to get a better score than Adrienne. So I beat her. No competition with Jen. Well, can I just digress? Adrienne did win, but Jen's comment on that was, shit, she was doing that humanities stuff, whereas I did the real subjects. sorry, Adrian. Her academic achievements are known to many here, so I won't elaborate except to say we are not surprised at your achievements. Her sense of adventure led her to follow her mother Judy's footsteps and travel through South America and the US before living and working in London for 9 years. Sarah Mack, who's here, was one of those lucky ones that travelled on that trip, and I haven't heard many stories, so look out, I'll catch up later. We were fortunate to visit her on a number of occasions in London, and as a result I need to thank her and her flatmates, in particular Tim and Heidi, for providing us with cost-free accommodation in London. Other aspects of our trip were not so cost-free, but I'm not complaining. I remember a great trip to Porto, a catch-up with Jess, who's here, in London and in Paris, and of course with Carolyn in London and in New York. I was always warned before each visit of the 5 or 6 questions I was not allowed to ask. I will not elaborate, but Jen may like to explain separately. I think I managed to ask most questions or comments during the trips, and she's still talking to me, so it couldn't have been too bad. In conclusion, I'd like to mention the most significant change achievement that we have noticed. That is in Jenni becoming a mum for the first time. Her devotion, love and patience with Eloise has been wonderful to see. Long may it last. I now call on you.
Well done.
Oh,
I think no, you go that no, go. I've got my own.
oh,
Come over this way.
that's all right.
God. Righto. Good afternoon, everyone. If you haven't met me before, I'm Adrienne Lowe, and I'm Jenni's matron of honour, and she's heavy on the matron. Thank you, Jen. Jen and I had the great fortune to grow up with Paul and Judy in what can only be described as the perfect suburban childhood. We were lucky enough to grow up in a home where our parents loved us,
I'll do the toast.
where we got to spend wonderful quality time with our grandmothers, and we were surrounded by friends who became our family. This left Jenni and I the luxury of filling the drama vacuum by creating our own. 2 very different and wildly competitive siblings with only a 2.5 year age gap. With regularity, Paulie would decry, "Your sister should be your best friend." We'd roll our eyes and stalk away full of teenage angst. And while our paths have diverged over the last 20 years, as much as I don't like to admit that Paulie is right, he got it spot on. I'm so proud to be your sister and your best friend, Jen. You are funny, you are loyal, you are super smart, and you are so generous. You're an awesome auntie, a brilliant mum, and watching you and James together, I know that you're going to be a phenomenal wife. As MC Minty has already mentioned, Jen and James met back in the dark early days of COVID. I recall Jen telling me that she'd been on a date with someone from the apps. And after doing the protective older sister thing and making sure that she'd gone and met him in public so he wasn't a serial killer, I asked how it went. It was okay. He does some sort of finance, insurance, boring thing for work. He's definitely not 6 foot. He's a bloody Essendon supporter. But he has the most lovely blue eyes I've ever seen. So fast forward a few months and those baby blue eyes and the addition of a COVID puppy, James sealed the deal. My husband Jeremy and I and our kids Maggie and Charlie first met James in Easter 2021. We'd managed to escape Queensland following another quick lockdown, and the 4 of us descended on Sydney, eager to meet Jenni's new love, Indy. Oh, and James. James had literally just got off his bike after completing his tour de cure, which really was a good way to impress us all. He hobbled over to Jenni's flat and climbed the 300 flights of stairs up to the rooftop to meet us. He was exhausted, but he managed to charm us all with his warmth, his funny stories, and his gentle teasing of Jenni. By the end of that trip, he truly won us over by joining us on a family trip to Taronga Zoo, where he listened to Charlie's insistent chatter and gave Maggie a special treat by taking her to hand feed the giraffes, her favourite animal. James, we are thrilled to have you join our family. Jeremy's particularly happy to not be the only son-in-law and is very happy to direct all future IT, Foxtel, iPhone, internet-related issues that Polly is having to you. Thank you for putting up with Jenni. Thank you for keeping her grounded and for looking after her. Thank you for being a beautiful dad. And thank you for agreeing, as witnessed by these 50-odd people here, that Eloise will be a Brisbane Live supporter for life. It is only fair after we witness the tragedy of this year's grand final. In the next 18 months, Jeremy and I will celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary, and Paul and Jude will celebrate 50 years. That is a bloody long time, and given what we've had the privilege to watch over the last few years and today, I think James and Jenni can eclipse us on these milestones. I'm sure Jen will make it her mission. Please don't forget, everyone in this room loves you, and we will be with you in the good times and the bad. Don't forget, we are all here when you need us. I'd like to finish by quoting one of the great philosophers of our time, Mr. Ted Lasso. If you care about someone and you've got love in your heart, there ain't nothing you can't get through together. I think we'll now do a toast.
Could I ask you to charge your glass and here's the bride and groom, particularly the bride.
Sorry, I hope that was okay.
I'll have that on you then. Back on you. Sorry, what? I said you just come up. Yeah. I've got that off right now. So I have it. You. Ladies and gentlemen, some people here need a chaperone to speak. Others don't. That's okay. I'd like to introduce a far more responsible individual, the sister of our lovely groom, Tamana Hildebrandt.
Hello everyone. For those who don't know me, as mentioned, I'm Tamana James, the proud sister of our dashing groom James. Today we celebrate the marriage of two wonderful people, my brother James and his beautiful bride Jenni. I'd like to take a moment though to thank each and every one of you for being here today. If you're in this room, you're part of James's family. There's the family he was born with. There's the family, the friends who've become family over the decades of friendship that you've shared together. And of course, there's the extended Prince clan, who as of today are now officially family. I also want to acknowledge the family and friends who can't be with us today. In particular, our dad. James, he would have been so proud to see you today. His spirit, his love, and his values live on in you. Growing up with James was a journey filled with laughter, surprises, squabbled, shared secrets, the Essendon Football Club song, and And costumes. Lots of costumes. It started as a little boy with He-Man, Master of the Universe. And over the years, we've seen him transform into a Top Gun pilot in his dress whites, Father Christmas, causing my children much excitement one Christmas Day. More recently, Where's Wally? And who could forget the giant Elmo that turned up at my door one day? James doesn't do things by halves. He's ridden his bike across the country to raise money for the Tour de Cure several times. He spent months in Bolivia when his friend got sick in South America, and almost got picked up by Australian customs on his return with all his Bolivian stamps in his passport.
They weren't stamps.
If you've ever been invited to share a meal with James, you might have noticed that James cooked for you, the other guests at the table, and enough food for the whole suburb next door. And what a fabulous day have he and his wife organised for us today. Now, I've seen Jenni's to-do list for today sitting on their fridge back at home. And let me tell you, a lot of work went into organising this day, and a lot of themselves. So thank you, it really is something special. Jenni, when James first met you, we knew you was something special. Not just because you were happy to accompany him to the dog pub with Indy on their first dates. But James spoke of a woman who is not only beautiful, but intelligent, kind-hearted, and full of life. And Jenni, you are all that and so much more. James, you waited a long time for your perfect partner to enter your life, and I'm so happy to see you today standing tall beside Jenni, the woman who is worth the wait. And let's not forget the littlest member of our family, the adorable Eloise. At just 11 months old, she has brought so much joy and happiness into our lives. James and Jenni, you've not only found love in each other, but you've created it in the form of Eloise. She is testament to your love and has made this day so much more special. I have no doubt that she will grow up to be just as kind and loving as her parents. And based on what we've seen so far, just as much of a party animal as well. Together you make a remarkable family. Your love story is real. It's about two people who, amidst all the craziness and chaos of life, remembering these two met in the midst of a global pandemic, have found something special in each other. And it's about a little girl who has enriched all of our lives beyond words. So let's raise our glasses high to James, Jenni, and Eloise, to love, life, and new beginnings.
Very, very happy with their service and food. It's magnificent. I'm going to put this guy out of his misery. He's a little bit nervous. And then hopefully he can put everybody else out of their misery, because I want to hear this speech. It sounds fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, the best man, Richard Coles. Perfect.
Hi everyone, I'm Richard Coles and I have the absolute privilege of being best man today. And I have to say,
me very specific rules, such as not touching James's luscious hair, not getting him tattooed, and weirdly, not taking him on a seaplane. Don't worry, Jen, we're never going to drop that sort of coin on him. I can pretty much say whatever I want today. Although knowing both of Jenny's parents are ex-military, I'll be sure to choose my words very wisely. Firstly, I would like to thank the parents of the bride and groom, Paul and Judy, and Rob and Haddam for hosting us today. It's a wonderful event, and I'm sure everyone is delighted to be here. To Jenny's wider family, I certainly know James thinks he's hit the jackpot with his new in-laws. I mean, you don't have to be Einstein to work out that James is pretty chuffed to have a mother and sister-in-law who are obsessed with cricket and AFL, and a brother-in-law who he says makes the best violet crumble rum and vanilla ice cream he's ever eaten. And trust me, James eats a lot of ice cream. In writing this speech, I've been trying to think of the best way to describe the Hads I know and love, and at a high level, it's pretty easy. James, at his heart, is an 80s Renaissance man, a guy who loves Top Gun and Bon Jovi. He's a sports nut who, like me, yearns for the glory days of the Essendon Football Club, unfortunately another 80s highlight. He's a great cook who advocates using multiple Uber Eats places for one meal and could talk endlessly about the superiority of the KFC chicken nugget. He's a man who doesn't so much as work for a living in insurance, but the long client lunches that go with it. And he's a bloke with only two known kryptonites, a complete intolerance to red wine and a difficulty in sourcing headwear for his extremely oversized noggin. But that description alone doesn't explain how James has managed to land a girl as fantastic as Jenny, so I thought using a few stories I would flesh out some of James's other key qualities that have no doubt helped him land the woman of his dreams. Quality 1, James is a problem solver, a creative thinker if you will. This attribute was best highlighted in James's university days when arriving home after a big night out he realised he'd forgotten his house keys. Not wanting to wake the rest of his family, he decided the best solution was to try to enter the family home via the doggy door. A genius ploy that ultimately led to James becoming stuck, subsequently falling asleep, and being woken in the morning by his mother tapping him with a broom. Quality 2, James is a man of efficiency and precision. Like most men, James hates ironing, and when I lived with him many years ago, he made the revolutionary decision for a while that he was only going to iron the front of his work shirts. That's right, every morning when James left our house, he would be looking completely pristine from the front, whilst manoeuvring to conceal the crumpled mess that was the back of his shirt under his suit jacket. Each time gleefully telling me like some kind of mastermind, "Colesy, you're only on the front, mate." Quality 3, James upholds high standards. So disappointed was James with the appalling performance of the Essendon Football Club during the 2022 season, he decided something had to be done. Being the wordsmith that he is, James settled on writing the club a strongly worded letter, and he told them in no uncertain terms that until they lifted their game, not only could they cancel his membership, but also the membership of his beloved dog, Indy, as well. Boom! Take that!
They may change.
Quality 4, James is a master of arts and crafts. Whilst everyone else was binging on Netflix and getting drunk during COVID lockdowns, James was bettering himself, spending his time mastering the lost art of Lego making. This newfound passion peaking with the creation of James's piece de resistance, a 5-foot-tall Star Wars Yoda figurine that still haunts my dreams to this day. But despite all these amazing qualities, the one thing James could never quite find was his Mrs. Right. And that's not to say he didn't courageously put himself out there on the dating front. But I can honestly say from the moment he met Jenny, it really did all fall into place for James and he'd finally found his match. I've never seen James as contented as he is with Jenny, and it's great to see him with a partner who brings out the best in him. And most importantly, they complement each other in all the right ways. They're both down-to-earth and family-orientated people. They both enjoy a good time and have a huge number of friends. We all know James likes to talk a lot of shit, and Jenny calls him out on it every time. And most importantly, as said, they're amazing parents to their beautiful girl Eloise, who they are absolutely besotted with. So I'm thrilled for Jenny and James today, and it's great to see one of the best blokes I know finally having his big day and marrying a fantastic woman. As a friend, James is hard to fault, and more than anything, he's just one of those special people who genuinely cares about others. You only need to look at his efforts in the tour to cure, honouring his father, and raising money for cancer research to see the sort of person he is, especially given he's not a natural on a bike, or in lycra, or in lycra for that matter. So it's a huge honour for me to be the best man today, particularly knowing how many bridal parties James has been in. Although I do acknowledge the significant limitations of the other groomsmen, particularly Stonia. So to Jenni and James, my heartfelt congratulations on tying the knot today. Alana and I wish you nothing but a lifetime full of love, happiness and great memories together. We hope that's all in Sydney, isn't that right, Jenni? Yeah. And we look forward to many more years of friendship, which will no doubt extend to our daughters becoming friends, as well as Bombers supporters. So ladies and gentlemen, with that, can you please join me in raising your glasses to toast the lovely couple, to Jenni and James, to the bride and groom.
Jenni and James.
So good, you nailed it.
Oh, nailed it.
Give it up! And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it gives me great delight to bring forward the lovely bride and the lovely groom, James and Jenni!
As James rightly points out, it's our wedding, not my wedding. But it's my wedding, and if I cry, don't judge me. Please, 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 please. I also really don't like public speaking, but with everyone I love in the room, I'm going to make an exception. So forgive me, there will be tears. But I am not being held against my own will. I am here willingly, I promise. So just wanted to say, what an amazing day it's already been. We're going to have some fun this afternoon, but amazing. But at least it's a day where 2 people in this country have said yes. Sorry. Politics aside, I banned politics and football talk. Thank you for respecting my wishes, Minty. All right. So firstly to Paul and Jude, the most supportive, fun-loving and generous parents going around. Always the life of the party. I'm pretty sure most of my friends are only friends with me still because they want to hang out with you guys. So I love you and appreciate you beyond words. So thank you. Okay. 1, done. 2, Robin, Mark, Tamana, Emily and Isla. Although our first meeting went off to quite a rocky start, with Isla being very angry that I sat next to her favourite, Uncle James, it's an honour to be officially joining your family. Robin and Tamana in particular, your influence on James is clear. He is strong-willed to a frustrating point, selfless and fiercely loyal, all traits I see in you both too. I only wish Bruce and Paulie could have had a drink, because my God, the stories that would have come out of that. Like, wow. To Robin in particular, thank you for not telling James to cancel the wedding after you witnessed my descent into madness watching the Lions play Carlton a few weeks ago. Always positive, she instead chose to describe my foul-mouthed tirade as a wonderful display of passion. To my sister Adrian, thank you for being my constant support and sounding board. Whilst we definitely know how to push each other's buttons, and God, it's fun doing so, I promise I will always have your back, and I also promise to never push you into a Christmas tree again. Charlie wants to know that story, by the way. You, Jeremy, Charlie and Maggie are an incredibly important part of our lives today and always. To Jane, thank you to Jane, as much as sister as she is a friend. I am part Tasker, part Burridge to you. Thanks to Helen, Stu, who can't be here, Amy, Dan and Nate. To Caroline, my bestie from when we were 15. Thank you for flying halfway across the world to be here. Can't wait to do the same for you in December, when you also marry a man named James, who's an underwriter, Also grows an impressive beard, loves sport, loves Lego, is obsessed with his dog, great cook, and cried during Top Gun Maverick as well. The similarities are uncanny. We've got great taste. To my group of friends, I have won the friendship lottery a million times over with you guys. You've been a part of my life for 25 years, so we met when we were like 3, right? Yep. What a supportive, intelligent, ambitious, and in my opinion, mostly hilarious group you and your wonderful partners are. To James's side of the party, what an incredibly accomplished yet humble group you are. Thank you for welcoming me into the fold and looking after him until I was lucky enough to meet him. To my London crew, yes, James, we lived in London and we went to Glastonbury. Thank you for being my family when my real one was so far away. All right, this is when I'm gonna cry. Lastly and most importantly, to my rock, James. Can't believe how lucky I was to find you, and even luckier that Eloise, Indy, and I get to keep you forever. You're a loving son, a loyal friend, an incredible partner, and a damn good personal chef. After today, we'll add wonderful husband to the list. Each night when you say goodnight to Eloise, you say, I love you for being you. So this afternoon, in front of everyone we love, I say it back to you, I love you for being you. I win!
Okay. So I want us to start by acknowledging everyone making the effort to come today. I know a lot of you travelled twice already for us, Bucks parties and also the engagement party. I'm going to be honest, when we had the engagement party, we wanted to have a bigger one because we did think we were just going to elope and get it over and done with, essentially. But when we sat down to plan it, we realised pretty quickly that we couldn't do it without our parents there. That was a no-brainer. And then the conversation turned to, oh, well, so-and-so has to be there. What about them? They have to be there. So from there, we decided, let's write a list. Write a list of everyone that's non-negotiable. They have to be here. We will not get married without that people. And that list is everyone in this room. So you truly are all our best friends, and we really appreciate the effort you've gone to. Thank you. Adrian, Jeremy, Maggie and Charlie, what a crew. From day one, you made me feel like part of the family. From the Christmas board shorts, the family dinners, sharing what Richard rightfully mentioned, the world's best ice cream. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Paul and Jude, thank you for raising Jenni to be the woman she is today. You've done an incredible job, and I can only hope I can achieve the same with Eloise. Paul, you are one of a kind. One of the friendliest and kindliest people I've ever met. Thanks for embracing my love of chili, although I'm pretty confident you did try to kill me at Christmas time. He handed me a 1 kilogram bag of Carolina Reaper chilies, the hottest on the planet, and said, enjoy. Jude, you're a great mother-in-law to have. It's such an honour to have someone that I can sit on the couch and watch football with and talk any sport to and have a great time with. And also, thank you for being here today and not watching the Pakistan-India World Cup game.
So where it's tonight, apparently.
To our priests and MCs, Jono and David.
It's real groovy.
Look, it was never in doubt that you were going to do well at this job, but you have absolutely killed it. You've blown us away. Thank you so much. You both mean the world to me. To my groomsmen, it's a fact there's no better bunch of guys in the world. You're all legend status, Warnie status even. We've been mates for over 20 years, from punching the sky in Thailand, Bucks parties in Vegas, Bali, admitting we're way too old to attend Electric Zoo in New York, roaming the streets of Copenhagen, long brunches in Singapore, hanging out on the beaches of Boracay, and just general good times in Melbourne and Sydney. It's been one heck of a ride with you guys. Colsey, when we got our nerd on and went to science camp in first year uni, I didn't expect to leave there with having a new brother. Thank you for your speech today. I know it was tough, and just thank you for always being there, mate. Tamana, Mark, Isla and Emily, you mean the world to me. Tamana, thank you for being that person I always go to for advice. You're a very special person. A huge thank you to Mum. I could never put into words what you mean to me. You're the most selfless woman I've ever met, and I couldn't be prouder to be your son. Before I get to the last thank you, I just wanted to acknowledge my dad, who has sadly passed away. He was my best friend and always will be, and no doubt would have loved Jenni. At my parents' wedding, he brought a bunch of roses, single white roses for every woman in the crowd. And you'll notice at the door there's a white rose for every girl here. I'd love if you could take it as a sign of respect for him. And lastly, to my wife, thank you for being the incredible woman you are. I could not love you more. You're the best mother to Eloise and Indy, and if possible, even a better partner. Thank you for bringing out the best in me, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
That's it.
That's it.
Come on!